There are more battery-powered vehicles zipping around our cities than ever before.
In 2017, there was 9,000 e-bikes sold. Last year, this number had grown to 75,000. As governments have made personal scooters or personal ridables legal, we've seen in Queensland, Western Australia, states that have done that, the number of people using e-ridables for commuting, for transport, has exploded.
They're pitched as a cheap and green alternative to help get more cars off the roads.
And it's very good for the environment if we're using bikes for transport.
But the batteries inside them,
that's where the skateboard was,
can be deadly.
A single spark and a second later,
occupants were charging their e-bike in the front room.
The entire garage is on fire.
A burnt-out e-scooter,
a combusting lithium-ion battery,
still attached to the wheel of an e-bike.
An increasing number of fires is being linked to lithium-ion batteries right across Australia and the world.
After hundreds of destructive and deadly fires, it's thought the battery blew up on a tube at Parsons Green.
Well, this is the remnants here of the hoverboards.
And it only takes one of these batteries to undergo thermal runaway to do this sort of damage.
6 days before Christmas, a Perth house was reduced to rubble.
So the fire in Allabrook just before Christmas was a hoverboard charging in a back room of a house. That family were actually lucky to get out alive. It was only the early notification of the smoke alarm that actually alerted them to the fire. And we're seeing more of these events happening every day of the week across Australia. And as in WA, we're seeing it occur at least once a week.
Fire authorities warn batteries can become dangerous when cells are damaged or overheated.
They should be stored preferably outside in the open air environment.
What are the key things people do wrong?
People overcharging, so they're keeping them charging overnight, charging them in rooms inside the house or in garages where there's no smoke alarms fitted. And also not checking for damage on the actual e-scooter or e-ridable themselves.
Last week, this e-scooter caught fire at a house in Brisbane and 5 people were sent to hospital. It was the latest of the 70-odd battery fires recorded in Queensland since 2021. Most states have only recently begun compiling the number of battery-related fires. But WA recorded 81 lithium-ion battery fires last year, more than triple the number in 2018. Victoria had at least 120 in the year to July, while New South Wales recorded 180 over the last 12 months.
We think we're responding to more than 3 fires every week that involve lithium-ion batteries.
Where are you?
I'm really concerned that somewhere in Australia we're going to see deaths as a result of fires involving lithium-ion batteries.
Come with me.
We are worried about undue fear of the technology. It isn't inherently more unsafe than, say, using a petrol-powered device, but it can get blown out of proportion when incidents occur.
Australian battery manufacturers argue most problems arise when people buy poorly made imports from overseas.
The easiest way for consumers to avoid risks with lithium-ion batteries they purchase is look at the terms and conditions and look for clauses that say we take no responsibility for anything to do with the battery. Quite often it's a lower end quality product that has, whether it's the charger or whether it's the battery itself, has either been damaged, it's a lower quality, they're not actually meant to be put together. So if you have the wrong charger with the battery, that can cause sparks or issues within the battery.
We all have more lithium-ion batteries in our homes these days, whether it's our smartphone, our laptop, the cordless drill, the cordless vacuum cleaner. So we want to understand what's causing the problems and how we stop them.
The Competition and Consumer Watchdog is now investigating the risks and lack of regulation.
Potentially we're looking at anything from industry codes to mandatory standards, potentially bans of the unsafest batteries, warning labels. There's a raft of possibilities, all of which we will be considering.
With all of these products being manufactured overseas, or a majority of them, and with the lack of industry standards on import, where there is a body that the Australian government could rely on to check and vet them, say at border control, there is no way right now to guarantee them coming in. So individual responsibility is transferred to the purchaser.
So e-bikes and e-scooters are a great innovation, and lack of regulation and enforcement is getting them a bad reputation.
From London to New York, overseas governments are grappling with the same problem.
As of today, we've already identified 140 injuries and 191 fires attributed to lithium-ion batteries this year. Tragically, these fires have also led to 6 fatalities.
Baruch Hertzfeld's organisation, Safer Charging, has been pushing the New York City government for better regulations.
In the ideal situation, people never bring their batteries inside of their apartment buildings. That's one of the goals. We believe that there can be a happy medium where there's encouraged use of light electric vehicles, and at the same time, a push towards greater safety and better use of the battery resources.
At this stage, it's still really early to say what the best possible solutions are. But I think the regulation of the sale of e-bikes and e-scooters to make sure that people are only buying the best possible product quality is a really good solution to help people in the first instance.